again, it's back to the psychology part of the game, which at the time, as a young 19-year-old, I was just finishing my apprenticeship. I was living in digs with 10 other lads, which was an house where we got looked after, like they used to do at Manchester United. You used to be in digs and close to the ground. And it was a Tuesday night game, and we were playing Liverpool at home. And our first team goalkeeper, Steve Sutton, at the time, had gone down during the day with a virus. It was a night game, obviously, Tuesday night. Hans Seegers was on loan at Wimbledon. We had another lad called Paul Crichton who was injured. Another lad called Darren Hayes who was injured. And I was the only one left. So I've got to play in this game against Liverpool. But I didn't know. So just as normal, we left the digs as apprentices at 5:30 that night to go and do our jobs, our routines. And my job that night was to make sure that the central heating in the away team dressing room was turned up full blast. Because apparently it dehydrates the opposition and you've got a better chance of winning. So that what Clough had given me that job to do. So I'd done it. There was a pipe, with a red thing that you used to turn on and make the heating full blast. And at 7:00, I was in what you call the boot room. We got 45 minutes to kick off. And I didn't know, but my old man had a phone call from Clough saying, get yourself to the game tonight. Mark's going to play. But whatever you do, don't tell him, because he'll shit himself. All right? So he didn't tell me. He came down to the game. Clough wined and dined him and looked after him. Anyway, at 7:00, I get the shout. And I've told you what he used to call me. So I get the shout, shit house. So I thought, well, he calls me that, so I better see what he wants. So I put my head out the boot room door and I looked down the corridor there. And he stood there, and we know his attire, rugby shirt, green sweater, blue tracky bottoms. He had a tennis racket in his hand. And he said, get your boots on, son, and it would help if you put your gloves on as well. You're playing. So I thought, hang on a minute, is this guy winding me up here? So Liverpool had Barnes, Beardsley and Rush playing that night up front. So I probably would have shit myself if my dad would have told me, to be honest. But they get, the brilliance behind the man management skill, where I always compare him to Sir Alex. Mind games, man manager. He's the man at the club. No one else. I had 45 minutes to get ready for that game. Stuart Pearce, our captain, said, big man, whatever you do, just think that you're playing with your mates in the park. And me and Des Walker and the other experienced lads, we'll look after you. So anyway, we won the game 2-1. I can't remember a lot that happened, but I remembered after the game, Clough came in and he asked me to follow him to the referee's room, which I did. He knocks on the referee's door. The ref invites us in, and Clough said to the referee, I'd like the match ball for the shithouse from Barnsley, he said. And the referee said, I can't give you the ball, Mr. Clough. He says, Mark's not scored a trick. It's, At which point, Clough nicked the ball out of his hand, gave it to me, and told me to piss off with the ball as quick as possible, which I did. I ran off with the ball, gets it signed by all my teammates on the night. And then he comes back in the dressing room and he said, young man. I said, yes, boss. He said, now go and knock on their dressing room door and ask if they'll sign it as well. So I'm thinking, are you winding me up? He wants me to. We've just beat Liverpool 2-1 and he wants me to go and knock on Kenny Dalglish's door and ask him to sign this ball. I thought, well, whatever Clough tells you to do, you do. So I walked down the corridor and I thought, what I'll do is, when I get halfway down, I'll just turn back and just say that they refused to do it. But as I turned back halfway around, he was stood there and he played, knock on the door, shithouse, knock on the door. So I had to go with the ball and knock on the door. And to be fair to Kenny Dalglish, he was, we all know he's a gentleman. And he actually, he invited me and got the ball signed. Now, following on from that, Saturday, we're playing Newcastle away the following Saturday. And he's kept me in the team.
Cool.
The following Saturday after that. But by this time, Steve Sutton, our first team goalkeeper, is now fit. So I'm just thinking, you're going to get taken out of the team. But he kept me in. Following Saturday, Coventry FA Cup. I made my first mistake, but we win the game 3-2. Now, after the game, I'm thinking, gullible me, big gnome, I'm thinking, do you know what? This is a piece of piss, this. I've got all these great players in front of me. I've got nothing to do. Oh, what a start! What a start to my career. But as we all know, it's not that easy. and he seen me. I was getting a little bit too big for my boots. So after the game against Coventry on the Saturday, I said to the lads, "See you on Monday, lads. You know, we've played 3 games, we've won 3. I'm absolutely buzzing." And he sees me and he goes, "Where do you think you're going, son?" And I said, "I'm going home." "Where's home?" I said, "I live in Barnsley." He said, "My house tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Bring your boots, and it would help if you bring your gloves as well." So I thought, Jesus Christ, I don't even know where the fella lives. How am I going to get to his house tomorrow morning? And why am I going? So I get hold of the groundsman, who I know does a little bit of driving for Clough, and I said, Chaz, his name's Chaz. I said, "I need to get to the manager's house tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Can you take me?" He said, "Yeah, I'll see you here at 8. I'll take you through, big fella. No problem." So off we go. We'll go through to Clough's. We get there about 8:30, but he said 9 o'clock. So I thought, I'll wait at the bottom of the drive till 5 to 9. I walk up the drive, and Barbara, his wife, answers the door. She said, "Hello, Mark, how you doing? I'm Barbara, Brian's wife. Come in. He's upstairs. He'll be down in 5 minutes." She said, "I'll make you a cup of tea and a slice of toast if you like." I said, yeah, I'd love. So I walk in, and me and Barbara are chatting away. Anyway, the gaffer comes in. And again, I don't have to tell you what he's got on. His rugby shirt, green sweater, blue tracky bottoms. He did have a squash racket in his hand this time, so I don't know whether he was off to play squash or what. And he said, "I won't call you shit house, 'cause Barbara's here," he said. And I said, "Okay, boss." He said, "But I'd like to say thank you." So I goes, "What for?" Now, he's got 2 sons, Nigel Clough and Simon Clough, who's now working with now, is chief scout now for Nigel. Well, Simon Clough was the manager of a team that play in the Derbyshire Sunday League, in Division 5 of the Derbyshire Sunday League, and they haven't got a goalie. So Cloughy goes, "Thank you for agreeing to play for Simon's team this morning, son. They haven't got a goalkeeper, and I thought you'd do." So I had to play in the game for Simon's team on Sunday morning, Division 5 Sunday League, and they got fined 50 quid for playing a ringer. And Cloughy took the 50 quid out of my wages at Forest to pay the fine.